kids, and welcome back to the Keys Kids channel. And I'm Miss Keys. It
is time.
It's Christmas! That's right, you guys. We have made it to Christmas Day. For the last 3 months, we have celebrated every holiday in this holiday series. And now we're at our final episode in this series on the very big day, Christmas Day. I am so excited you guys are joining me today as we read a Christmas classic. That's right, you guys. We are reading How the Grinch Stole Christmas by Dr. Seuss. I thought, it could be a better book to finish up this series. And then I found this holiday classic. I am so excited. I hope you guys are filled with love and light today, giving and holiday joy as we read this story. Now, don't forget, we are wrapping up this series and our lesson focus, which is not like our typical lessons. For this series, we have talked all about just sitting back, relaxing, and enjoying the story we're reading. So today we're going to do the same thing. And even past today, even in our future books, I still want you to be able to sit back and enjoy the story we're reading, regardless if it's at school, at home, if there is a lesson focus or not. It's a great thing to love to read. While we're reading though, I want you to think about your favorite part. I want you to sit and think about what was that part that really got you going. What made you so excited? What made you love the story we're reading? I'm just so excited! I'm so glad you guys are joining me today. I can't wait to get started. So I'm just gonna go ahead and be quiet and ask our big question. Are you guys ready to read? Well then put on your Santa hat and let's go! How the Grinch Stole Christmas by Dr. Seuss. Every Who down in Who-ville liked Christmas a lot. But the Grinch, who lived just north of Who-ville, did not. The Grinch hated Christmas, the whole Christmas season. Now, please don't ask why. No one quite knows the reason. It could be his head wasn't screwed on just right. It could be perhaps that his shoes were too tight. But I think that most likely reason of all may have been that his heart was 2 sizes too small. But whatever the reason, his heart or his shoes, he stood there on Christmas Eve, hating the Whos, staring down from his cave with a sour, Grinchy frown at the warm lighted windows below in their town. For he knew Who down in Who-ville beneath was busy now hanging a mistletoe wreath. And they're hanging their stockings, he snarled with a sneer. Tomorrow is Christmas, it's practically here. Then he growled with his Grinch fingers nervously drumming. I must find some way to stop Christmas from coming. For tomorrow, he knew, all the Who girls and boys would wake bright and early. They'd rush for their toys. And then, oh, the noise. Oh, the noise. Noise, noise, noise! That's one thing he hated. The noise, noise, noise! Then the Whos, young and old, would sit down to a feast. And they'd feast, and they'd feast. And they'd feast, 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 feast! They would feast on Who pudding and rare Who roast beefs, which was something the Grinch could not stand in the least. And then they'd do something he'd like least of all. Every Who down in Who-ville, the tall and the small, would stand close together with Christmas bells ringing. They stand hand in hand, and the Who's would start singing. They'd sing, and they'd sing, and they'd sing, 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 sing. And the more the Grinch thought of this Who Christmas sing, the more the Grinch thought, I must stop this whole thing. Why, for 53 years I've put up with it now. I must stop this Christmas from coming. But how? And then he got an idea. An awful idea. The Grinch got a wonderful, awful idea. I know just what to do. The Grinch laughed in his throat, and he made a quick Santa Claus hat and a coat. And he chuckled and clucked. What a great Grinchy trick! With this coat and this hat, I look just like Saint Nick. All I need is a reindeer. Then the Grinch looked around, but since reindeer are scarce, there was none to be found. Did that stop the old Grinch? No, the Grinch simply said, if I can't find a reindeer, I'll make one instead. So he called his dog Max. Then he took some red thread, and he tied a big horn on the top of his head. Then he loaded some bags and some old empty sacks on a ramshackle sleigh, and he hitched up old Max. Then the Grinch said, "Giddy up!" And the sleigh started down towards the homes where the Who's lay a snooze in their town. All their windows were dark, quiet snow filled the air. All the Who's were dreaming sweet dreams without care. When he came to the first little house on the square, "This is stop number 1, the old Grinchy Claus hissed, and he climbed to the roof, emptied bags in his fist. Then he slid down the chimney, a rather tight pinch, but if Santa could do it, then so could the Grinch. He got stuck only once for a moment or two. Then he stuck his head out of the fireplace flue, where the little Who stockings all hung in a row. "These stockings," he grinned, "are the first things to go." Then he slithered and slunked with a smile most unpleasant around the whole room, and he took every present. Pop guns and bicycles, roller skates and drums, checkerboards, tricycles, popcorns, and plums. He stuffed them in bags. Then the Grinch, very nimbly, stuffed all the bags, one by one, up the chimbley. Then he slunk to the icebox. He took the Who's feast? Oh, Grinch. He took the Who pudding? He took the roast beast? He cleaned out that icebox as quick as a flash. Why, that Grinch even took the last can of Who hash. Then he stuffed all the food up the chimney with glee. "And now," grinned the Grinch, "I will stuff up the tree." And the Grinch grabbed the tree, and he started to shove when he heard a small sound like the coo of a dove. He turned around fast, and he saw a small Who, little Cindy Lou who was not more than 2. The Grinch had been caught up by this tiny Who daughter who'd gotten out of bed for a cup of cold water. She stared at the Grinch and said, "Santa Claus, why?" The Grinch had been caught. The Grinch had been caught up by this tiny Who daughter who got out of bed for a cup of cold water. She stared at the Grinch and said, "Santa Claus, why? Why are you taking our Christmas tree? Why?" But you know that old Grinch was so smart and so slick. He thought up a lie, and he thought it up quick. "Why, my sweet little tot, the fake Santa Claus lied. "There's a light on this tree that won't light on one side. So I'm taking it home to my workshop, my dear. I'll fix it up there, then I'll bring it back here." And his fib fooled the child. Then he patted her head, and he got her a drink and sent her to bed. And when Cindy Lou Who went to the bed with her cup, he went to the chimney and stuffed the tree up. Then the last thing he took was the log for their fire. Then he went up the chimney himself, the old liar. On their walls he left nothing but hooks and some wire. And the one speck of food that he left in the house was a crumb that was even too small for a mouse. Then he did the same thing to the other Who's houses, leaving crumbs much too small for the other Who's mouses. It was 1/4 past dawn, all the Who's still abed, all the Who's still a snooze, when he packed up his sled. Packed it up with their presents, their ribbons, their wrappings, the tags and the tinsels, the trimmings, the trappings. 3,000 feet up the side of Mount Crumpet, he rode with his load to the tip-top to dump it. "Pooh-pooh to the Who's," he was Grinchiously humming. "They're finding out now that no Christmas is coming. They're just waking up. I know just what they'll do. Their mouths will hang up in a minute or two. Then the Who's down in Who-ville will all cry boo-hoo." "That's a noise," grinned the Grinch, "that I simply must hear." So he paused, and the Grinch put his hand to his ear. And he did hear a sound rising over the snow. It started in low, then it started to grow. But the sound wasn't sad. Why, this sound sounded merry. It couldn't be so. But it was merry. Very. He stared down at Who-ville. The Grinch popped his eyes. Then he shook. What he saw was a shocking surprise. Every Who down in Who-ville, the tall and the small, was singing without any presents at all. He hadn't stopped Christmas from coming. It came, somehow or other. It came just the same. And the Grinch, with his Grinch feet ice cold in the snow, stood puzzling and puzzling. How could it be so? It came without ribbons. It came without tags. It came without packages, boxes, or bags. And he puzzled 3 hours till his puzzler was sore. Then the Grinch thought of something he hadn't before. Maybe Christmas, he thought, doesn't come from a store. Maybe Christmas, perhaps, means a little bit more. And what happened then? Well, in Who-ville they say that the Grinch's small heart grew 3 sizes that day. And the men in his heart didn't feel quite so tight. He whizzed with his load through the bright morning light, and he brought back the toys and the food for the feast. And he himself, the Grinch, carved the roast beast. The end. That was amazing. I mean, not only is it a classic, but it's one of the most perfect Christmas stories. I love How the Grinch Stole Christmas. I'm actually watching it today because I love it, and I'm so glad you guys got to join me to read it today. Now it's time to talk about what was your favorite part in the story How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Was it maybe when the Grinch got the idea to steal everything down in Who-ville? Grinch, why? Or maybe it was when Cindy Lou woke up, and for a second there we thought, oh, the Grinch caught Cindy Lou, go wake mama up, go wake mama daddy up. And then the Grinch just sent her back to bed because he pretended to be Santa Claus. Or maybe it was right at the end, after everything was said and done, that the Grinch himself got to carve the Christmas roast beast? Well, my favorite part, I had to pick the part where the Grinch was sitting on top of Mount Crumpet, thinking and thinking, trying to figure out why the Who's are still happy. And then he realized what everyone should realize. Christmas isn't about presents. Christmas is about spending it with people you love, giving to those you love, just embracing your family and your friends, and being thankful that another year, another great year has come and go, and there are so many more to come. That is what Christmas is about for me. That is what Christmas should be about for everyone. Presents are awesome, but love and laughter and happiness is the most important. Being thankful is the most important. And that also is an amazing theme. You'll find out why later. Anywho, I have enjoyed this series with you guys. It was an amazing ride. From our Halloween to our Thanksgiving, now to our Christmas Day, I have had a blast just sitting back and enjoying the stories we're reading. Now, next week, it's time to bring in the new year. That's right, you guys, it's gonna be 2021. Where has the year gone? I am so excited. So Monday on the KeysKidsChannel Instagram, you'll find our first book of the new year. You'll also find what our next series will all be about. I am so excited! I have something good planned. And then Saturday, right here on the KeysKidsChannel YouTube, you'll find me reading to you. I am so excited you guys joined me today. I'm thankful that you guys have always been here to read with me. I can't wait to read for as long as I possibly can. I hope you guys are having the merriest Christmas. And I will see you guys next week on the Keys Kids channel. Bye!